Hey, what's going on, my life God's way family? Welcome to another episode. How we bring you culture and Christianity, and how we're bridging the gap between what we think we know and what we don't. Today, we're going to talk about politics. Simple as that. We're going to talk about politics. Today is what
Fifth.
the fifth, but it's what the second day past the election,
Yes.
and we still have Daffy Duck still in the White House. Um, I don't know what to say. I just feel like, well, let me not forget about this part. I do have a co-host today, and she is my wife. She get all the little sound effects. Anyways, but nah, she's gonna be with me on this episode. But today we simply just gonna talk about politics. It's the second day past the election, and I don't understand why this man is still occupying the White House. It just doesn't make sense to me. And I know one of the reasons why he's still in there because he can just do whatever he wants. I mean, nobody wants to really call it out and say it, but he's a privileged man, and we all know that if Barack Obama was doing this, he would have been gone. Like, ain't no ifs, ands, or buts about it. If Barack Obama would have done a fraction, we're not even gonna say half, a fraction of the things that Donald Trump does, he would be up under the jail. We all know this, and it's crazy because I was searching through everything has been all over, like the Baller Alert and Shade Room and all these different platforms. And I came across this video, and it was crazy. There used to be a time where like church or, God, church and politics just wasn't a thing in the same. There was a very different entity. Politics stayed out of church. When we went to church, we focused on God and bettering our lives and stuff like that. And now I feel like, every Sunday you see some churches live stream or everything is a political statement now. I feel like we've kind of gotten away from the true meaning of what it means to be servants of Jesus Christ. But I'm going to play y'all this video that me and my wife been laughing over for probably 30 minutes. But if you are not watching this, listen at Pastor Paula White. Listen to her. Just, I don't even know what to say about it. Just listen to this, y'all.
For every enemy that is aligned against you, let there be that we would strike the ground, for you will give us victory, God. I hear a sound of abundance of rain. I hear a sound of victory. I hear a sound of shouting and singing. I hear a sound of victory. The Lord says it is done. The Lord says it is done. For I hear victory, 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 victory in the corridors of heaven. In the corridors of heaven, victory, 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 victory. For angels are being released right now. Angels are being dispatched right now. Hamanda aka ata raka teda baka sanda ata ambo osa tata rite eke banda ata rike didi ashata. For angels have even been dispatched from Africa right now. Africa right now. Africa right now. From Africa right now. They're coming here. They're coming here. In the name of Jesus. Angelic reinforcement. Pika hata anda ata ora bata rata. I hear the sound of victory. I hear the sound of victory.
Can somebody
Translator.
please tell me what we just listened to? Because when she started getting into the Namyor Humbaka Chewbacca sound, I just don't understand.
She was calling up everybody.
I mean, is that a prayer?
I guess Mahatma Gandhi's her own boy.
Not Mahatma Gandhi, dear, please. I can't. This is the thing. This is the thing I don't understand. Is she's a pastor, and which I feel like even her whole platform and her style of preaching is mocked and robbed to me of the black church. But we ain't gonna go there. It's a whole nother subject. If you watch her preach, she attempts to preach just like a black person or African American. But what I'm trying to understand, please, y'all, somebody help me understand, please. Why is she trying to take angels from Africa?
I didn't know Angels had a zip code. I was confused.
I mean, the whole thing to me is just like, to me, it just sounds like a mock of our faith. Like, we taking angels from Africa and they're being dispatched out here. And the thing that kills me is she mentioned angels from Africa. I mean,
in South America.
In South America, I just feel like there's a lot, there's things that's going on over there in those countries that's far worse than what we got going on with this political game we have with this president. Because that's really what it is. It's a political game. He doesn't want to leave. He lost. And
she could have just asked for the ones from Europe.
Bruh.
I'm just saying.
But I mean, what is she?
Latinos, Latinx, all what is
Latinx.
it? Hispanics. There's a whole lot of different.
Oh, I didn't know that. I'm learning something new. I did not know that.
People, African American, African. None of those people want him here. So there's no reason that they would try to dispatch any sort of support.
Right. But you know what's amazing to me? It's amazing to see the difference. And I know for weeks we've been saying, oh, this country is divided. But, and don't get me wrong, I do partially agree with that. But when you look at the numbers, as far as like the states, I'm seeing more and more states that are turning blue than ever. Like, I'm telling you, couldn't nobody ever tell me Arizona, Nevada, and Georgia would be blue or primarily Democratic states. I would have never thought that. I mean, I tell people all the time, Arizona is probably one of my least favorite states because I had a very bad racial experience there. I mean, they treated me and the individuals I was working with at the time just like, oh, y'all just a bunch of black people. I don't care. Just it didn't matter what we said, we had multiple witnesses that, what we were doing wasn't wrong. We were just there to work, but they didn't care about that. All they knew was that what we were doing to them was disturbing this Caucasian lady who was an assistant to a judge that lived in the gated community right across the way. That's all that mattered. They didn't care, oh no, y'all got to go now. Like almost arrested like two of my friends. It was just crazy. It was like really, really crazy, but that's another political thing. Politics is crazy. Even right here, out here in Los Angeles, California, even with the guy that came out of nowhere to me, because I hadn't heard of him, Joe Collins, that was running against Maxine Waters. I mean, he should have known. Come on now. For real, dude. You think we going against Auntie Maxine? The lady that's going to the White House fighting on our behalf, speaking up against racism and bigotry? Come on. When we see you in pictures with the president and his son, not in the same occasion, but different occasions, I mean, smiling. And I mean, these are individuals who they mock disabled people. They've talked about the Latin community, which is our brothers and sisters. I cannot respect someone who feels like they can say and do whatever they want without remorse. I just can't. I feel like the president is the highest ranking position in the United States. And the United States is supposed to be the most powerful country in the nation. And because we feel like we're the most powerful country in the nation, we can't just say and do whatever we want. Not in that position. You have to be the example that you want to see in the world. And Donald Trump is just not that example. And it's crazy because I was just talking to my godmother about this earlier today. I used to love Donald Trump, like when he was in the movies, when he had the whole show. He was a funny guy. He really was. I mean, I felt like his hotels looked nice. He was a cool guy. Man, when this dude became the president, he just turned into a whole nother person. I guess there's a true statement they say when power, it goes to people's head, it does change them. Money and power change.
He turned into another person. I just think people saw him for who he actually was.
So you feel like he just exposed himself?
Yes.
You think so?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, I can see that. I could definitely see that. So I mean, let me ask you something. So how do you feel about this whole like mock of an election process and how I feel like it's taken the longest time ever to count ballots? Like just today, you know, the person that counts that's over the actual count of the ballots, the election process in Nevada, he spoke on the news stating that it's going to be probably till the 12th of November when they'll actually finish the ballots. I've never heard of such a thing a day in my life.
Well, this election has had the biggest turnout of people participating in history.
Right.
So they anticipated, millions of people mailing their ballots in on the day of election. So there's no way you can count that on the day of election because it's not going to get there.
Right.
They just put it in the mail. So.
And I've heard most of these people that mail in their ballots was actually Democrats basically. Because you got to think the Democratic Party, don't tell nobody I said that, even though it's going to be on Facebook. The Democratic Party, they were, I will say this, they were the politicians that has kind of taken COVID more serious than the Republican Party because they were encouraging a lot of people to mail in their ballots weeks and weeks ago. Mm-hmm. So now I think that's what's happening is that they're getting a lot of blue votes.
A lot of people that mailed in before. I think it was about like 70 million people mailed in ahead of time. But there's still a lot of people that voted on that day and that mailed them in. So, I mean, it's going to take some time. Me, personally, I feel like I'd rather them take the time than just rush it. For what? I mean, not even trying to sound like that. What are we really in a rush for?
To get him out of the building.
But it's not like if tomorrow they count all the ballots and they're like, okay, he's out. It's not like he's going to be walking out the door with his suitcases. It's still the whole process.
Well, yeah, he doesn't officially leave until January or something.
Yeah.
But it's still
like January 20th.
But I know, but it's still the satisfaction in knowing that at least we can move forward with whoever the next president will be.
Well, yes.
Whatever
I
it tells.
That. I just am like, I'd rather have this couple days of waiting than they jump the gun. They're like, oh, yeah, this is the answer. And then they finish counting all these votes and they're like, oh, my bad. I don't want them my bad. Mm-hmm. So I'd rather wait. I'll take the delayed gratification.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people don't want that, but I'll take that. I'll take the delayed gratification.
Well, I don't think it's, the whole delayed gratification thing. It's just, it's never taken this long. And we've had millions and millions of people to vote before. And I understand there's more people that voted this year than any other previous year, but we're not talking about double the numbers or something like this. Only a couple extra million people voted more this year.
A couple extra million.
Yeah, but but hear me what I'm saying. This is not in one state. This is across the United States. So we're talking about maybe a couple thousand, tens of thousands in each state, extra people.
True. But we've also haven't had an election this important in a long time.
It's been stated this probably has the most, important election to date.
So, like I said, I'd rather wait.
I'm cool. Bro can go today.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Everyone would have liked to have seen him gone yesterday. Last year, never arrived at all. Mm-hmm. But it's like, at the end of the day, I don't know. I don't want a rush job. I don't want, next thing you know, we're going to get another recount. I don't have time for that.
Right. No, I understand that, and it's crazy because I found this video online, you know, like with the Trump supporters.
They're all over the place.
Oh my God, they're so confused. They don't know what they want. Like in one state they're saying stop the vote, and in another state they're saying keep voting. And I'll put this count the votes. I'll put this video up so you all can see it. But this is another video that's just, I don't understand. It's like crazy. Let me put this video up so you all can see this.
People they don't know.
Count the votes. The vote.
They should have got together to figure out exactly what they wanted to do. Like, are we counting votes?
But see, that's just how confused they are, because they're just following anything that Donald Trump says. It's like they don't have their own mind. And it's crazy because I feel like the individuals that he's like prowling on and preying on the most is the uneducated Republicans.
Well,
Those, I'm not going to call a certain word, those individuals that are uneducated in certain communities down south that live in certain impoverished neighborhoods. Those are the ones that, pro-Trump, and they don't even understand that most of the things that this man has done has negatively affected those communities. Mm-hmm. But all they see is somebody that looks like them, who believes in this whole conservativeness, and that's a whole nother topic of discussion right there. But even to be conservative, to be conservative as a black person versus a white individual is two different.
Conservative views. I think he just.
You don't think Donald Trump has conservative views?
No.
I think so.
He just views rich and white.
I think he has some, but that's a lot of conservative views. Most people who are proud to say they're conservative, most of them, they think with money first. They do. It's crazy, and all the stuff was going around about Biden. Are you yawning?
Sorry.
Jesus. I'm gonna let you go to bed in a minute. So, people were talking about Biden's tax plan and how taxes are gonna go up, but most of the people that were getting upset didn't really read the tax plan.
No.
And it's like, dude,
like, you work at McDonald's. What are you talking about?
Bruh, $16 an hour. This Biden's tax plan is going to affect anybody that makes over $400,000 in a year. That's the 1%.
Like, you're not.
The 99 is what people we
40,
need.
sir.
Exactly. The 99% is the individuals that we are trying to fight for. The individuals who are robbing Peter or borrowing from Peter to pay Paul because they can't pay their rent. They're struggling to pay their mortgage. These are the ones that kids are going to college and they're getting all these student loans just to be able to, get a job making a fraction of the student loan debt to pay it off. It's kind of backwards. I feel like even that, why are we having to pay for education to better ourselves? I understand, you have to pay the teachers, but there's plenty of countries that, college is free. So with healthcare. But, in America, we're greedy. We're a very greedy nation. We spend all these money on wars and we can't take care of the poor. What do you think? What do you think about, politics nowadays, and this, I feel like it's completely different now that I'm an older man, getting older.
An older man.
Whatever. Now that I'm getting older and I'm seeing things from a different, whatever. I'm seeing things from a different perspective now that I'm, getting older versus back when I was 18. But now that I've been working for quite some time, my thought process is a little different. You think your views has changed about politics over you're a dose man? Because you up there. How would you about to be?
Don't blame me. um, well, yeah, since becoming an adult, I use that loosely.
Speaking to the mic, child.
18.
Let him hear you.
You're not really an adult, but whatever.
Legally, you're an adult.
Yeah, but that's about it. But yeah, since turning 18, I would say yes. I wouldn't more or less say my views have changed, but just you start paying attention more. You don't just vote on the props that are on TV, but you actually read the books, see how they're affecting you,
right? How
they're gonna affect others, even if it doesn't necessarily pertain to you and your family or whatever. But so I feel like for me, as I've gotten older, you start to want to understand more and realize like it's not just, oh, let me make sure I vote when it's time for a new president, but all the little votes in between, everything else on that ballot, it's actually way more important.
It is.
Than the president. The president, he's
just the face.
Yes. And so now, granted, we would like to have a nice face. We've been stuck with some plastic surgery, bruh, and bad toupees for a while.
Jesus Christ.
But yeah. So, but I think that if they put more I won't say focus, but just explained it better, like in school. I vaguely remember government, but it's not broken down to where I feel where you actually kind of understand really what's going on, and it might have just been my school, who knows. But
you're at golden education. Can't say nothing about the schools you went to.
Whatever. Anyways, but so I think that's also something they should, and even as parents, as our children get older, we need to just explain to them the voting process and make sure that they have that information, because I do feel like a lot of times people have this whole, oh, my vote doesn't mean anything mentality because they don't understand the process. So they feel like it doesn't mean anything. It's almost like when you're growing up and you be like, well, my parents are going to just do whatever they want, so it doesn't really matter. Like, you don't feel like you should say anything. But you should, because you never know how just stating your opinion, your thoughts, or whatever could change whatever you don't like or what's happening.
Right.
So, but yeah. But I do feel like this year, with everything that has transpired, it has awaken, that's the proper way, a lot of young people to want to vote, to be involved, to be educated voters.
Right.
Because it's not good enough to just vote. You need to be an educated voter. Because if you're like the 50,000 people that voted for Kanye, then your vote... Bruh. Your vote, you pretty much voted for Trump, whether you want to believe that or not.
Right.
You pretty much did, because your vote did not put forth anything. You voted for someone that was clearly not going to be going anywhere. He wasn't going to win. He was not even in the runnings. None of that.
Right.
So you basically just took votes away from either candidate, which is further keeping the current candidate where he's at.
Right.
But, I can see as a young person, if you don't know or haven't been paying attention, just living your little party life, and you just like, oh man, Kanye, like, he's dope, I'm gonna vote for him. That would be why you voted. With no, just because he the homie.
Right. And let me tell you what's so funny about the whole Kanye West voting. So, did you see the video about with the mom? She was going off on her son in the car.
No.
Oh my God. gosh, she was upset. She was like, "What did you do that for?" She said, "I told you to vote for Biden." He was like, "Well, I like Kanye West," and she was like, "Kanye West is not even a factor."
But see, that statement right there. That's what kids do. That's why
and
I'm
I felt bad. It was his first time voting too.
Yeah, and it's like I don't feel bad because he voted based off of what he knew. So if no one took the time to educate him about voting, because all you hear is, okay, when you turn 18, you can vote. But there needs to be some guidelines with that.
Well,
someone needed to sit down with that young man and explain to him what was going on,
right?
What's actually happening right now, why this vote is so important. Don't just vote for Kanye because you know him and you like his music. Like, this is not a popularity contest. This is literally shaping your future.
Right.
And it's like, no shade to Kanye, but he's not shaping futures right now. He didn't put in the work that these other candidates did to actually make some change and really take it seriously.
Right.
Like, it was almost just like, hey, babe, I think I'm going to vote. I think I'm going to run. Oh, okay, cool. Like, that literally is probably what happened because
I don't even think he was.
There was no forethought.
Yeah, I don't even think his wife was probably around when he just decided to just, I want to vote and just do all this stuff.
She probably was just like,
he probably wasn't
okay.
even, he probably wasn't in
And
the same house. Probably was somewhere on tour.
She probably didn't put no thought into it because especially as wives, sometimes our husbands say outlandish things. You just be like, oh, okay.
The fact that,
it's true.
But the fact that 50,000 people decided to vote for this man, that's a lot of people. Yeah. That's a lot.
But you'd be surprised how many people, like the video you're saying, they were just like, oh, I like him.
Right.
I'm going to vote for him. Or be surprised how many people was like, well, I don't want to vote for either candidate, so I'd rather vote for him, but not realizing that's not helpful.
Right. Yeah, that's some tomfoolery. That's some tomfoolery. And it's crazy because the whole Kanye West not voting, but running, to me, I feel like it just makes a mock of our whole judiciary, the political system. There should be some type of stipulation for you to be able to run for president. Like, I feel like
I think
now,
he was more or less kind of doing it as a statement.
But that's what I'm saying, though. It's like, what are the qualifications? What are the qualifications to become a president? And I'm pretty sure there's some out there.
Well,
but obviously, it can't be. It really can't, because we had a clown as a president, Donald Trump. And that's the thing. It's like I said before, back when he was like in Home Alone, when he was walking through and he had the little funny, he was on Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. I mean, I felt like he was a cool dude back in the days. I really did. I'm not going to sit here and lie. I feel like Donald Trump. I remember Donald Trump. I remember Donald Trump being cameos in various movies. He had little roles in a lot of different movies, whether it was minority films or not. Christmas films. He was in quite a few movies. And he had funny parts.
Like, and I always was just like,
right. Well, like the episode.
His spirit is ugly.
Lord have mercy. I remember, like, to the T, the episode he was in Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. I never forget, they were trying to sell the house. A real estate agent came to the house, and Uncle Phil, he didn't want to sell the house. It was their family house. He didn't care how much money till they got to the real estate agent, told them how much money the person was trying to buy the house for. Then everything changed because it was like almost double or more than double what they had bought for the house. So it would have been stupid for them to not sell out. Man, what? This is brick and mortar. This is what? Some wood and some nails? Y'all can have this. Y'all want me to pack up tonight? But so that's what was happening on the episode. I remember Donald Trump was the person that was buying the house. And Ashley, she was like, thank you, sir. You ruined my life. And then I never
Still
forget. It's
today.
that's what I'm about to get to. It's funny you say that because she made the statement in that, television show. She said, "Thank you, sir, for ruining my life." And Donald Trump's response was, "Somebody's always blaming me for something." Now, how crazy is that statement was made almost 30 years ago when he was, acting in the show.
And he still didn't
And
learn.
now don't say he still didn't learn, but he's still doing all this crazy stuff. And now people are really blaming him. But it's like he has to fault himself. He has to really look at himself and say, and don't get me wrong, he does some crazy things, but he's human too, just like we all are. So, believe it or not, I pray for him just like I pray for Joe Biden.
Yeah, you have to.
He need God just like Joe Biden, just like I need him, just like any other candidate, any politician. We all need God, So I pray that really God that if when he does exit out the White House, that he does get himself together, because he's
gonna have to get himself together in another country.
Well, he said, I wish I can put it up. I didn't load it, but he actually did say in one of his tweets, he had Twitter. I understand why now. Like now that I have a Twitter, I see what people say about him being Twitter fingers. He is always tweeting. I'm like, dude, when did you have time to be the president? You tweeting left and right. I'm like, come on, man. But it's just like that's just how funny America looks to other countries now. We're like the laughing stock of the world. I mean, you talking about you got third world countries that's laughing at America. When they used to look for us for aid, they laughing at us now. Like, man, this y'all a joke. This is your president. This is the guy that's running this country. And the main thing I don't. Oh Lord have mercy. And the one thing I don't like, about him is that his temperament. He has a temperament like a child. And being that he's the president of one of the strongest nation, he has the control and the power to just say, go to war, strike this country, strike that country. And that's a bad position for a person like that to be in. That's a very bad position for this person to be in because, we don't need to lose innocent lives, innocent soldiers because you want to throw a temper tantrum and you don't like the way this country spoke about America and they don't want to do this with us. They don't want to do that. Why does it matter? Okay, they don't want to do it. Let's find it in another country. And I don't know if it's that easy, but there's plenty of resources on God's green earth. Mm-hmm. So if this country is not messing with us, we can find another country. But, the key to this episode, I just wanted to talk a little bit about, this politics and just this whole system and this current president that we have. And I pray that God just sends us somebody that really has a vision to move the United States forward, that really believes in science for medicine, and all these good things. There's a lot of good people that live in this United States. And I just hope that, one day we get to some type of common ground and that, this racism stuff, we just deal away with it. And it's sad because now I'm seeing, even with racism, it never really went away. It's just getting filmed. Mm-hmm. To be honest, now it's just getting filmed. More and more people are being exposed, from police officers to, judges. Now they got this saying, the Karens of the world, all these individuals and the Toms, all these individuals are now being recorded. And all this stuff wasn't around 40, 50 years ago.
Yeah, it wasn't around. It just wasn't recorded.
Well, that's what I mean. All these, the gadgets, the cell phones, all those things weren't around 40, 50 years ago to actually showcase what was actually happening. They had cameras, but they would take pictures of people being hosed down by fire hoses, by police departments. It was just
a different day and age.
It was just crazy.
Karens can talk, but
they know who to say it to.
Of course,
because they
pop right in the face. I don't got time.
Bruh.
Really? You can be violent?
It's not about being violent. No, I mean, of course, I know how to handle myself as an adult and, but Like when I see people getting all up in people's face, you got 1 second, because the second, you're gonna be wondering what happened after the first second. Because I don't have time for that. You know, God didn't put me here to have to put up with your mess. No.
Yeah, that's crazy. But no, we're not gonna hold you all long. I just wanted to come on here real quick and talk about, you know, politics, and maybe we'll do a part 2, hopefully with some friends of mine. But I do want to say this though. So a couple weeks ago, I posed a question on my social media accounts asking that if you all would like me to do anonymous letter answering on my podcast.
Send us letters.
So
send him letters. His podcast. My bad.
You can send me letters because the percentage was like a landslide. Like 97% of y'all out of like, I think it was like 100 votes or something like that. So 97 individuals said yes, and 3 individuals said no. So with that being said, we rocking with the 97. So send me your letters. I promise you I will never, ever, ever give your name. You don't even have to sign your name at the bottom. You could just put Dear John and tell me something that you would like me to answer on the podcast.
You want like physical letters, or are you talking about like in the DMs?
In the DM.
Oh, okay.
But they can still like write it out like a letter. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But just give me something nice to read so I can make it very interesting. Be truthful. You know, maybe some hidden secrets, but won't nobody know it's you. You know, but send them to me on my social media accounts. So mylife.godsway on Instagram, or mylife.godsway on Facebook. You can even write in the comment section of my YouTube account, My Life God's Way, and then I'll reach out to you on there. So until next time, you all, please like, follow, subscribe, and share. And just like Donald Trump, yeah, y'all, we checking out.
Peace.
Peace out.